Alright, let's try this again tonight. Hopefully, this works tonight. We're just waiting on a couple more people to show up. How you doing tonight? We seem to be having a little better luck here. We'll see if it continues. Don't mind me. yeah, the conspiracy's on. Yeah, I've been out taking care of the yard, so I'm not dressing up or shaving for tonight. See if anybody else joins here, and then we'll get started. It's going to be a free-for-all tonight. Whatever we want to talk about, we can talk about. Welcome, Larry. Just giving it a little more time to get some other people on here. Don't mind the rough appearance. I've been out doing yard work. It's my day off, and I decided to do the yard work. So how's everybody doing today? We got a better feed today, I hope. Hopefully it isn't breaking up at all. Hopefully my fan isn't giving any background noise. I still get a laugh out of that guy. Politics got me last time, huh? The conspiracy is on. Schneider and them don't want to hear my message get out there. Alright. We need to get 2 more people on here, and then I'll get started. That way we've got at least 15 on here. At least if my numbers are right anyways. How's everybody doing? I'll ask this question over and over as we get going. Okay. I think we'll get started here. Alright, the original. Yes, I did die. I did see that they ran out of chlorine tablets. It's a shame. They shouldn't be running out of anything up there with their situation right now, should they? But anyways, I don't know how far the conversation got on Sunday about the property tax. I've had people ask me, how can I cut the property tax and still support our police departments, fire departments? And it's real simple. The state brings in a total of $125.9 billion. Okay, that's a year, and that's how much they bring in with all the taxes combined. Now, they have misappropriation in every tax bracket that they have. Okay, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul when they shouldn't have to be doing that. Like for our gas taxes, it should go strictly for our roads, but they're taking money from the gas tax, putting towards our schools. They're taking from the school funds to repair bridges, to help transportation in the cities, and they shouldn't be touching any of that money for other than what it is for. they've even, if you've paid attention to your tax on your checks, they're the only ones that aren't being touched supposedly is our Social Security taxes, which goes to the Fed, and our Medicare taxes go to the Fed, and of course your federal FICA taxes go to the Fed. But anything to do with the state, any taxes collected generally goes to Lansing, and Lansing disperses it. Now, we have property taxes, which I don't know if anybody's seen. I have a notebook here I've compiled of every county's taxes for their property taxes. Now, these are homeowners' property taxes and business taxes. There's not one county that's identical to the other. They all have different numbers, and supposedly towards whatever their county needs to be funded. But what all these that are going through, that I've gone through, they all the money goes to Lansing, and Lansing redisperses it if Lansing decides to fund the counties the way that they feel they need to have their budget done. Well, we need to change all this. Okay, I know some people don't like the idea of having Lansing in charge of our schools, but I think that one person or one organization, the school fund, should be run by a committee for the schools only. We have the average amount of money for each student going to our schools is different in each county. You got some counties that they only pay $7,300 per child, and then you have other counties that are getting $8,600 per child. But it's supposed to be the same no matter what county, what schooling, and everything's supposed to be identical, but it's not. There's actually some schools in the Detroit metro area, believe it or not, that receive over $10,000 per child. But they're still not spending the money properly. I mean, look at Detroit right now. You have a bunch of the principals and stuff that took plea bargains because basically they were embezzling from our school funds. This is the lack of accountability that I have been talking about. Again, before anybody else makes a comment about my appearance, I've been out doing yard work. I am a working man. I have to maintain my yard, so I decided tonight not to even dress up. Just wear my t-shirt. I'm not shaving. I don't think I need to do that to have this open forum. But what we need to do is get somebody in there who's going to hold our elected officials accountable. We don't need people stealing from the funds and trying to line their pockets. Granted, I know the people in Lansing are doing this, but we will put a stop to it. We will end the corruption, and the monies will go where they're supposed to be going. I'll be making sure that I travel around the state, county to county, communicating with the people, making sure that their elected officials in their districts are communicating what the people need in their communities. If they're not doing their job, we'll make sure they do their job. If they're not going to, then we'll make sure that they are removed from office with the people's doing, not myself. I can't personally boot a senator or a state rep, but we can if we go to the district and the people want them removed for lack of doing what they're supposed to be doing. In other words, misconduct of office. Excuse me. This is how I'm going to work with the people. If we find out that the state needs a certain item done, well, let's use our roads for an example. I know the road situation real well. If we need certain roads redone and the senators and the state reps aren't working with the governor's office and the people to get the stuff done, well, then we can always circumvent the state house and the senators by just going directly to the people. We'll just have we'll call a special ballot, and we'll get it done by the people, for the people. I'm not against that. I believe in our government is by the people and for the people, not the way it's being run now. They are ignoring what we need and want. They're doing what is on their agenda for their lobbyists, and I won't be bought by any lobbyist organization. I'm bought by the people for the people. So when I'm out there talking, you'll know I'm talking directly to you, not to the corporations. Now, the tax reform will be to help corporations in order to make them, or have them, I shouldn't say make them, have them bring more jobs to Michigan. Now, I've been talking to people. I've been trying to get in touch with some of the teachers' unions to get some more inside information on what they feel they need. I do believe in giving the teachers another 10% pay raise as statewide. But I also want to hold the teachers accountable. I know I can't go out there and say, hey, teachers, you're going to take this test to see if you're up to speed. No, we can't do that because that would be unfair, although depending on what grade levels we're talking about. But we will hold the teachers accountable even if they have tenure. If they're not doing their job, they need to go. My top priority is to bring jobs to Michigan and to educate our children. I do not believe in the Common Core, so if you dislike that about me, I'm sorry. I believe in the STEM program. We need to bring more science and technology, engineering, and mathematics to Michigan. The Common Core, it doesn't work. It hampers it. Let me rephrase that. It ties the teachers' hands for their creativity to teach our children. And our children, in my beliefs, are our future. If we are not going to train our children and teach them things that they can move forward in their lives, then it isn't worth doing. So we need to get rid of the Common Core, allow our teachers to teach our kids, and to move on. I will be one of the governors that is very strongly towards our schools because I believe our schools are our center of our communities. We need to provide for our kids a top-notch education. I would like to see, I know it won't happen in my 4 years as governor, but I'd like to see our Michigan ranked number 5 in our nation. Right now, we are ranked number 39, and we're on course to be even lower than that. We're on course to be ranked number 41 in nation, and that is deplorable, and to say the best. Our kids deserve better, and I want to give them better. I want to work on also getting, like I said, more jobs to Michigan. How I will do it is by restructuring the taxes, the whole tax structure for Michigan. We will eliminate some taxes and redistribute other taxes. In other words, when I say redistribute, I'm going to use the corporate income tax as an example. You'd figure a corporate income tax should be the same right across the board, whether you're a bank, you're a manufacturing company, or you're a mom and pop flower shop. It isn't. I might have said this before. 2005, Governor Schneider raised, 2011, not 2005. 2011, Governor Schneider raised a corporate income tax to 6%. Well, mom and pop's been paying the 6%, but the banks haven't, the insurance industry has not, of course General Motors has not. People have argued with me on the General Motors point is that they employ thousands of people, so they should get a tax break. I don't agree with that. I think whether you're a mom and pop business or you're General Motors, you should be paying the same. Doesn't matter. If we're going to eliminate some of the regulations and eliminate a bunch of the taxes that these corporations and people are paying or lowering, it needs to be fair and across the board. Doesn't matter if you're mom and pop or you're General Motors. My plan is to lower it to 3%. When I lower it to 3%, the banks will be brought up to the 3%. Yeah. See, right now it's 6%, but the banks are only paying 0.29. That's just a hair over a %. How's that fair? You got insurance companies like Allstate, State Farm. They're all paying only 1.75%. To me, that isn't fair. So we'll lower the corporate income tax down to 3%, bring the companies up to 3% and other ones down to 3%, and it'll be a flat tax across the board. Doesn't matter what kind of work it is, what kind of company it is. They will all pay the same. So that's how we're going to bring jobs to Michigan. When you make the tax base low enough, companies are going to want to come in because they realize that their taxes are going to be so much lower. Now, we will also work on the federal taxes. We have some leeway with the federal taxes, and some of them, if we cut too much, the Fed's going to look at us and say, hey, we're going to take some of your federal funding away from you unless you bring these taxes back up. As far as I'm concerned, they could take all the federal funding out of the state of Michigan. Michigan is ranked number 9 for the highest population in this. Out of all 50 states, we're ranked number 9. We have just under 10 million people. So, even if the Fed took all their taxes away from the state of Michigan, okay, and that's a big chunk of money, believe it or not. If they took it all away from the state, we could raise the taxes here in the state up to 6% on all our taxes and fund the state on its own without the federal taxes. And you'd still be paying less in tax at that 6%. It might be actually 8%, but I'm just doing this from memory right now. But either way, at this point right now, if you take your checks, count your state taxes and your federal taxes, you're right around, for a family of 4, about 25% of that's all tax, depending on your tax bracket. So if you take your check, you take 25% away from it, that's pretty much what your taxes are. And that's your state and federal combined. Now, when I get in there and elected as governor, we're going to change all this. Your tax should go from that 25% that I'm using in it as an example, should drop it down to a minimum of 17 or 18. It's right in that area. It's actually closer to 17.167, I think it was. That's still a considerable amount of money. Now, by eliminating the property tax that we were talking about earlier, and the state income tax cut that we were talking about, that'll save 80% of the people in Michigan a tax cut and benefit them. Between those two taxes alone, should save the average family between $300 and $500 a month. Now, it depends on where you're at and what the tax base is for the property taxes. Right now, they're all over the board. There's not, like I said, there's not one county that's the same. You got some counties that are taxed higher and some that are lower. Well, we're going to make that a flat tax as well. Like I said, I have this notebook, and there's 173 pages in here for 83 counties. That's ridiculous. You should have, let me use an example here. County of Alcona. Okay, you got Alcona Township, all right, for total millage for principal residence, this is your property tax for your primary residence. It's 19.81% of whatever you purchase or your house is valued at. Okay, businesses are 25.81. You go down to Curtis Township, which is still in Alcona County, they're paying 20.19. It doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it is. It's ridiculous. There shouldn't be these high of taxes because the counties aren't using them properly either. Why do you think they come to you for a school millage to raise your property taxes so that they can supposedly fund their schools more? Well, here we go. I'm getting a bad connection again, but we're going to keep trying to go through this. Because they're misappropriately using their tax dollars. I have not had anybody call me or send me an email saying that I'm wrong about this. Okay? I'd welcome somebody to try to set me straight if they feel I'm saying something wrong. But I'm going right by the papers that I get right from the state of Michigan. Now, I don't believe half of them, but I use them as an example. So if somebody wants to go online and research what I'm talking about, that's where I got it from, the state of Michigan. So these are the things I want to straighten out. And the only way to do it is to get an average number and flat tax it out so everybody's paying the same. There's no argument that way. There's no way they can say it's unfair. And with the state dispatching the money for the schools, there's only one place you can blame if a school hasn't got the proper money, right? If we set it up so that it's the same for all the students like it's supposed to be, there shouldn't be an issue. Unless, again, somebody's stealing from the school fund for that school. And if that's the case, there won't be just a slap on the hand under my administration. If you've done this, if you've embezzled from your school fund, like these principals, they're not only going to have restitution, they're going to do jail time because they're stealing from our kids. Okay, I believe in accountability, and as governor, I expect the people to hold me accountable. I won't have to sit there and answer to the senators and the state reps as much as I will the people. As far as I'm concerned, the senators aren't doing their jobs. I have one that lives right in the same subdivision that I live in, Jim Marlew. He's a state senator for Oakland County, District 8. I believe, yeah, District 8. And he doesn't hardly ever come out of his house. So we need to change that where our senators and our state reps are talking to people like they should be, not just sitting at their home collecting a paycheck. In my administration, we will change it to where they're working Monday through Friday at least. As long, the governor will be out here Monday through Friday. You can bet your butts they'll be out here Monday through Friday. And if they're not doing their job, we'll make them do their job. If they're not going to do it and we can't make them do it, they need to leave office. Let's put somebody in there with common sense, like somebody who wants to run office and actually do their jobs. They need to be staying in communication with their districts, with their constituents, and getting their needs taken care of. Now, I'm not all for entitlements. I don't want you to think I'm speaking as in free entitlements for people. I believe in a hard day's work for a paycheck. I work my regular job, and I work 14 to 16 hours a day, and I don't expect everybody else to work 14, 16 hours a day, but I'd like to get a good majority of the people who are on the welfare system back to work. In order to do that, like I said, we need to bring jobs to Michigan. And by lowering our tax base, it will bring jobs. We've had 2 presidents that believed in this to actually lower the taxes across the United States. One was John F. Kennedy, and the other one was Ronald Reagan. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. Both times that they've done it, both times that those presidents lowered our tax base, manufacturing jobs took off. It spread through the United States like wildfire. That we had in the beginning of the 80s when Reagan done it, prosperity was high. The beginning of the 60s when John F. Kennedy done it, prosperity took off as well. And then, of course, in between, you get the idiots who want to raise taxes all the way up as high as they can. I mean, believe it or not, we've had taxes as high, if I remember right, 98% of our check, maybe it was 93, somewhere in there anyways, was in the 90% range. How would you like to work and pay taxes at 90%? I sure the heck wouldn't. I mean, for every $100 I make, $90 goes to them? No, it'd make it hard to survive on, I'll tell you that. But we're headed that direction with the way our economy is going. I mean, right now, mom and pops, 40% of their money they make from their businesses is all tax. And then after that, they pay their employees who get taxed again. And it's just a never-ending battle. We need to change that in Michigan. Whether the rest of the country goes that way or not, we will. Now, I'm betting when we start changing all these taxes and start making things prosperous here in Michigan, I'm guaranteeing you there's 49 other state governors out there that are going to start paying attention to Michigan. I mean, I've already talked to road companies out there. We could, right now, the Lansing says it costs $1 million per mile for our roads to be fixed. Well, some of these road companies seem to believe that they can build a road that'll last guaranteed 10 to 15 years. and they can do it for that $1,000,000. But meanwhile, some of our other roads that don't have heavy truck traffic, we could repair those roads for right around $500,000 per mile. Now, a lot of that is even cheaper if we just resurface. It all depends on the traffic that's on these roads, but we could probably cover all 120,000 miles of Michigan's roads. That's just an estimate. I realize it's actually a little higher than 120,000 miles. I mean, because you got secondary roads and all this. But either way, we could repair or resurface the majority of those roads, rebuild some of the main highways in 8 to 12 years. And that would be something that is possible and feasible. Our gas tax money right now, the state's bringing in over $57 million a week on just gas tax, but they're not spending it appropriately. And you can get that number from American Petroleum Institute. You'll have to add it all together, but it's right around 48.66 cents per mile, including the federal. But either way, I can't get the exact number of cars on the roads in Michigan, but I can get a rough estimate from the state of Michigan, and that's where we come up with the number for the $57 million. And that's a week on just the gas tax. That's not counting diesel fuel. So, like I said, this is open forum, so if you have any questions, you just feel free to throw them up here, and if it's a question I can answer, I'll let you know. If not, I'll also tell you I don't know that one, but I'll look into it. So, other than listening to me rattle on, I told you Tuesday I would come back and try to get this going again. It seems like we're holding out with a better signal this time. So maybe, Diane, there isn't quite such a conspiracy after all, but if I mention Governor Schneider's name and we blink out again, we'll know it's him. But I'm still looking for volunteers for August 20th for the Woodward Dream Cruise. I'd like to get at least another 10 people. If you're willing to come down and enjoy the festivities here in Pontiac and Ferndale area, we're going out and gathering signatures and passing out campaign flyers. We have hopefully two tents set up on Woodward. And whoever comes down to help, lunch is on me. So if you're willing to do that, get in touch with me. You can email me, or you can go on to schleigerforgovernor2018.com and go on to the contact page, and you can email me your information there, and I will definitely get in touch with you about volunteering. We'd like to get as many as we can. Right now we're about 12 people. We're trying to hit a goal of 20, but we will definitely take more. We're hoping to get anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 signatures or more on the 20th alone. So any help you can do would be highly appreciated, and like I said, I'll buy lunch for everybody. If there's too many of you, it's going to be Little Caesar's Pizza. So hopefully you like pizza. It definitely isn't going to be steak, so don't even think about it. So, anything anybody wants to ask me a question of? Again, it is open forum. I'm sitting here watching the monitor to see if anybody wants to ask me a question. All right. You can also email Chris Ruzin at CRUZZIN at SchleigerforGovernor2018.com. You can send him your information if you'd like to volunteer as well. I did forget that. I appreciate that, Chris. Don't mind me. I'm drinking some Gatorade. It was hot out there doing yard work today. I'm glad I only do it once a week. Do you agree with me on the fact that lowering the tax should bring jobs into Michigan? Anybody? I actually think it'll work. Uh, I welcome any economist to throw my numbers up against the wall and see if they stick, which they should. Uh, the plan, like I said last Sunday, was to cut $20 billion out of our tax basis. And the reason I picked 20 billion is because I can't figure out where the other 20 billion goes that we collect. Like I said, we bring in 125.9, I'll just say 126 billion. Our budget is 25.3. Amazing. The minute I start talking money, I get a weak connection. Schneider's at it again. Actually, it's probably Bill Schuette. He's the one that needs to be shot as well. I apologize, I didn't say that. Like I said, 126 billion. Our actual budget for the state of Michigan, according to the budget office of Michigan, is right around 26 billion. 13.7 of that is our property tax. That's why I picked that particular tax to eliminate. It would help everybody who owns a home in Michigan, as long as it's their primary home. I want to make that clear. The primary residence only. If, like I said, if you can afford a second home, you can afford the property tax on that home. So that's why I feel the way I do on that. My ideas is to help families keep their homes. If you pay attention to this, the IRS tries to put a lien on your home when you owe them money. They would not be able to do that in the state of Michigan because we are going to strip the IRS of their authority in Michigan in order to enforce it, that is. They still are going to collect your tax dollars. They're still going to collect your tax forms, but we will not allow them to steal anybody's home. I believe in the castle law, which is a man's home is his castle, or woman. I don't want it to be discriminative on that. Women own homes, so a man or a woman, their home is their castle. Okay? And I want to make it easier for you to keep your home. Once it's paid for, it's paid for. Why should you keep paying somebody for your home when it's paid for? I don't believe in that. And that's the purpose of eliminating these taxes on property. I mean, one that really irks the hell out of me is this. I'll give you an example. There's this gentleman in Wayne County. His name escapes me right now, and I did go through this on Sunday, but I'll go through it again because the broadcast was messed up. This gentleman bought a home. I think it was for $2,500. His very first home. He had it appraised. It appraised at $9,000. Okay, he done some work to it, so it brought the value up. Wayne County decided to send him a tax bill for a home that was valued at $45,000, 5 times the actual value of this home from its appreciation that he had it appreciated. I don't even, am I using the right word? I believe so. It don't matter. You know what I'm talking about. Appraised, excuse me. Okay, so they tried to send him a tax bill for 5 times higher than they should have. Well, he only makes $16,000 a year. That's why this was such a good buy for him, because it was his first home. He paid $2,500 for it. Property taxes in Wayne County are the highest in the nation. I don't know if you know that, but it definitely proves it when they're charging you 5 times the value of your home. So this is the reason this stuff has to stop. They're getting away with stealing people's homes. You get this guy that bought this, like I said, for $2,500. They want to tax him 5 times higher what the house is appraised at. He can't afford that. So guess what? Wayne County's going to steal that house back and resell it to somebody else. They'll probably sell it to him for $2,500, $5,000, and then they'll tell them the house is worth $45,000 and charge them 5 times the amount of the house again. It's a racket that needs to be stopped. these people need to be held accountable. Now, the tax collector or office in Wayne County said this guy could have applied for poverty level taxes. Well, he went down there to apply, and they told him he didn't qualify. The reason he didn't qualify, they told him, is because he owns 2 homes. Well, he tried to tell him he doesn't own 2 homes. So he went down to the title company, found out the name of this other gentleman whose first name was the same and last name was the same. The middle initial was different. He went back to the tax clerk and showed him his ID and the paperwork and says, "This isn't me." Well, they told him he should have put his middle initial on his title so that this wouldn't have happened. And he did manage to save his home from what I understand, but it was close. They don't want to be proved wrong. And anybody who knows that goes up against the legal system, if you prove the legal system wrong, they don't like that. So the next time you go in front of them, they'll try to burn you twice as hard. So we need a system where there's accountability. Okay? In order to hold our legal system accountable, I would like to bring back to Michigan the common law grand jury, or another name for it is the people's grand jury. Justice Scalia, who just recently passed away a couple months ago, one of the best Supreme Court justices out there for being fair. He really believes in our Constitution like I do. You'll never hear or even worry about me as governor playing with our Constitution. Our Constitution, whether it be the state or the federal Constitution, is the law of the land. It is not to be played with, and it needs to be interpreted literally. Our courts and lawyers have a bad habit of, when they make a law, they broaden it so wide that they can encompass whatever they want. Law is letter specific. It's not meant to be stretched and broadened so that they can fit whatever they want into it to win their cases. I don't believe in that. But like I started to say, with the common law grand jury, we will have 83 of these, one for each county. If you have a problem with the judge, a lawyer, a state representative, the governor, unfortunately, hopefully you won't have a problem with the governor if I'm the governor. But if you do have an issue, you can take it in front of your common law grand jury or people's grand jury, whichever you'd like to call it. It'll be right down at your main courthouse in your county. And you can take it in front of them. Then what will happen is you and the other party that you have the issue with will tell your sides of the story. Now, these are people from your county, not necessarily your city, but your county. They will decide on the law what the law is, and they have the right to either enforce the law or sidestep the law. I know that doesn't sound right, but it's called common sense. Okay? Something that our government's been lacking, our courts have been lacking, and a lot of our people have been lacking. But it gives the people another way of handling situations legally. Okay, if you don't know what a common law grand jury is, just Google it and read up on it. It's Old English law. It's what our nation was founded on, is Old English law. And it's still on the books. So this gives the people a way to take care of it, to get resolution for problems. And I'll tell you what, I don't agree with the Judicial Tenure Committee, which is 3 judges that oversees judges. I don't like the idea of judges looking over themselves. I don't feel that's fair. They're all out drinking together, eating, having dinner together, and it wouldn't surprise me if some of them are sleeping together. And that wasn't meant as a joke. They play golf together. Come on. You got lawyers who are going out there playing golf with the judges. Pay attention when you go into a courtroom. Look at how they look at each other and wink at each other. And if you really pay attention, you'll hear them say, "Hey, I'll see you on Saturday for the golf game." You think I'm kidding? Pay attention when you go in there. And if you really want to have fun with the judge, I can't go there. I was going to tell you. Yeah, I can. You want to have fun with the judge, put on your best suit or dress, go sit in the far left corner of the back pew or chair or whatever it is. Make sure it's the far left corner of the back of that courtroom, and take a notebook with you and just start making little notes when the judge is up there speaking. I'll guarantee you that judge will be paying attention to everything you're doing over there, because he's going to think you're from the Judicial Tenor Committee. If you want to have fun court watching, just go do that. Watch how uneasy it makes a judge, even though he knows that they're not going to do anything to him, or at least he hopes. I used to do that just for the fun of it. I know I'm an idiot sometimes, but I love to have fun. But I believe in the law. No matter what it is, I still believe in the law. Well, we all go shopping into the gym every now and then, so whether you're a judge or a lawyer or a common person, that's still something that we all do. But like I said, these are a lot of things I want to change. Here's another idea I'll throw at you. Okay, what if we make it so all the schools have to purchase all their supplies from companies right here in Michigan? Kind of support the economy itself. I think that's a great idea. Buy all our school pencils right here in Michigan. If there isn't a company here in Michigan that makes pencils, we'll bring a company into Michigan, or have mom and pop open up one. Great business for them, guaranteed business for them. I'd like to see all our schools do that. Make sure every school supply that's needed for our students here in Michigan comes from Michigan. That's showing support for our state economy. At the same time, the schools can say, "Hey, we're proud to be supplied by companies here in Michigan." There's no tax incentive into it, because we've already lowered all the taxes. Well, we will once I'm in there as governor. And a lot of people said, how can you? Well, here's a good example. I won't give you her name, but if she's watching, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Lady in Lansing. She told me, "I want to change too many things at once." And I said, "Wow, I've got your attention now, don't I? These are things that need to be changed. And maybe I am attempting to change too many things at once, but I don't think so. I believe these are all things that need to be changed, and we need to think outside the box, not play the status quo game. The establishment does not want to lose power, and I'm at a loss for words for that situation, because I can't stand the status quo. I mean, one of my biggest things that I go around saying is say no to the status quo. So, the establishment is corrupt. Plain and simple. If you get out there and you're running for state rep and you win, right now this is, if you win, before you go to office, before you go to Lansing to do the people's work, supposedly, you have to go over there for a month before your time and take a class so that you know how to act in Lansing. That's where they start brainwashing you. I know a state rep, she went to Lansing to try to do what she thought was right for the people. She hasn't even finished her first term, which she's up for election again, and they've already corrupted her because they sanctioned her so she could not pass a bill because she couldn't get no support to do it. Now, if she would have came to me, if I was the governor, I would have said, well, if it sounds like a good idea, I'll get behind you. We'll sponsor a bill together. Instead, she's been, how do you say it? She's been canoodling. I like that word. It just sounds good, even though it doesn't mean what I want it to be. But either way, she's been canoodling with all the millionaires. She's setting herself up for a job for after her time as a state rep. And at some aspects, you can't blame her. But in other aspects, you need to be true to your word when you are elected by the people. One thing I will not allow is for somebody to try to corrupt me. That's why I have not taken any money from corporations. I have had offers, and I have turned them down flat out. The only people that I'm taking money from are the people of Michigan for my campaign. That's why every time I'm on here, before the end of it, I tell you, if you want to make a donation, go to schleigerforgovernor2018.com, click on the donate button, click reoccurring, $3, $4, $5 a month. That's all I'm asking. I've got quite a few people who donate $3 a month. It helps with printing, helps with equipment. It helps pay for lunches for the volunteers when we go do something, part of the campaign. It doesn't fund my whole campaign. The majority of the money is still coming from my paychecks. So this is why I ask the people to make a donation. All I ask is for $3 a month minimum. Most of us can handle $3 a month. That's why I chose that dollar amount. But don't get me wrong. If you want to donate more and you feel like you can, you go right ahead and do it. I'll gladly accept it. The whole idea is I'm trying to be funded completely by the people of Michigan for my run for office. And the funny thing is, I just happened to hear today about Gary Johnson. He's the Libertarian running for president. All of a sudden now, he's getting donations of $3 a month. I talked this over with my campaign manager today. There's a lot of things that I've been saying, even before these people running for president and other offices were saying some of this stuff. I was already putting this out. But that's fine. You know, if they're getting information off my website and from me, and they're actually doing it, it's good. They're listening to the people in some way, shape, or form, right? So I'm almost done rambling here. So if anybody else has any new questions, please go ahead and ask them. I have about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to get off here because I don't want to bore you too awful much. Not any questions out there? Or are you busy typing? Is it hot enough out there for you people out here in Michigan? And I am glad. I've seen quite a few new people on here, so that really makes me feel good that there's new people coming to my Todd Talks. Hopefully we don't have another bad Sunday. I will be out here. I'll put something together for Sunday. Is there any subjects out there that you would like to hear my ideas on as governor? If there's any particular items that you guys would like me to talk about, you can go on to schleigerforgovernor2018.com, go to the contact page. You can send me a message there. I do check my emails, So, and it does give me a notification on my phone. So if you do send me a message there, I will respond to it. As those who have sent me messages lately have found out, I do respond. Excuse me. So if there's any items that you'd like me to discuss, you can leave a message there as well. And again, for my final message again, I will say it again. Please go to SchleigerforGovernor2018.com. Click on the donate button. Donate whatever amount you want as a one-time donation. It is a secure PayPal donation site. But I prefer that you donate $3 a month. If you wish to donate more, that's fine. I will accept whatever it is. If you want to donate $1, I'd take it, but I prefer $3 a month. That is a nice small amount, and every little dime helps. We're looking before the end of this year to have 10,000 people donating $3 a month, reoccurring. We are getting closer to it. We have a little over 1,000 people right now. I shouldn't tell you how many, but that's not right. But either way, like I said, our goal is to get 10,000 people. And again, we are getting ready to start putting out an electronic newsletter on a monthly basis. So if you'd like to sign up for that, again, go to SchleigerforGovernor2018.com, hit the contact page, leave us your information, and we will put you on the email list. Yeah, I just think that's something that we need to start doing, let you know what this campaign is up to, where we're at. And again, August 20th, we are looking for, volunteers for the Woodward Dream Cruise in Pontiac. It goes between Pontiac and Ferndale. Come out, see the festivities, look at all the gorgeous hot rods out there, nice cars going up and down the Woodward Highway 1. And the volunteers that we are looking for are, we want help gathering signatures and passing out campaign flyers. We for sure will have one tent set up on Woodward. We're hoping to have one off of Woodward slightly. But we are going to be there August 20th. I'll be there all day. I don't expect the volunteers to stay all day. If you do, great. I am going to feed you for lunch. And I appreciate that, Di. And the more you spread my message around, the more people seem to like what I have to say. I try to be as common a person as every one of us. I'm not a politician. Even after I'm elected governor, I'm still going to be just like everybody else. I'll put my pants on the same way as you do. And I will be out talking to the people all around the state. I won't be sitting in Lansing like our idiot we have there now. So, and as far as I'm concerned, I already realized Brian Calley, our lieutenant governor, is going to make a run for governor. Bill Schuette, our attorney general, is also going to make a run for governor. But here's how I look at it. They're just as responsible as Rick Schneider is, our governor, for the situation that took place in Flint. Plus, none of them have gotten our roads fixed, so we all know that. So again, I'm looking for volunteers for August 20th. We need 8 more for our goal of 20, but if we get more than that, I'll take whoever wants to volunteer and help. Again, go to SchleigerforGovernor2018.com, go to the contact page, leave me a message with your email. If you want to leave me your phone number, it stays right in my folders for contacts. Nobody else gets into it other than maybe my campaign manager or our director of fundraising. Those are the only three people that have access to them pages, so you do not have to worry about it. We do not use your information for anything else other than reaching out to you for possibly later volunteers, or if there's a question that you want answered. So again, enjoy your evening. I thank you for coming to listen to me live again. And again, we are going to have another broadcast. We're going to get back on schedule on Sundays. The only reason we're on a Tuesday tonight is because of our technical difficulties we had last Sunday. So enjoy your evening. God bless you, and thank you for watching. Good night.